Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us on ABC10 News at 5 on ABC10 Plus. I'm Laura Painter. We start tonight with new information on two men critically hurt in what police call a targeted shooting in downtown Lodi last night. Neighbors and business owners say they heard the shots fired in front of the Lodi bowling alley and are now left traumatized. ABC10's Roxanne Elias has the update tonight.
When we arrived here on scene at Lodi Bowling, you could see crews power washing the pavement, picking up glass from these broken doors. You could still see bullet holes on the side of the building. A manager here letting us know the shooting happened right outside the entrance doors. Shattered glass and bullet holes showed the aftermath of a shooting Sunday night at the doorsteps of Lodi Bowling in downtown Lodi. Dustin Reedy lives nearby and says he heard the guns go off.
We heard multiple gunshots last night and heard it was down here at the bowling alley, and a couple helicopters flying over and a drone. Police up and down the street last night on their loudspeakers telling people to get out the street.
Satnam, the owner of Tokay Liquors, which sits across the bowling alley, says the shooting has made her relive a deadly shooting that took her husband's life.
5 years ago in 2020, they killed my husband here on the work. So it's very scary for me. That's why we don't want to stand here. And people are standing on the sidewalk. They are looking, they watching, and they make the videos, everything.
Satnam says as soon as she saw the violence, she closed her store. An employee at the bowling alley spoke to ABC10 off camera and says the entire incident was caught on their surveillance cameras. It was given to police. He says in it you can see people walking down Lockford Street. And at some point, two of them began shooting at the other two who were in front of the bowling alley. He says a security guard also fired shots back to try and scare off the shooters. At this point, it's unclear if anyone involved had been inside the bowling alley earlier. Lodi Bowling released their statement on their social media saying in part, "Our business has always been a place for community, and to have that peace shattered by this violence is deeply disturbing. We are working closely with the Lodi Police Department to aid in their investigation and will provide any information necessary to bring those responsible to justice." Meanwhile, Satnam, who has owned her store for more than 20 years, says she is now considering closing her business.
I think about to sell this business. Else I don't want to do business anymore.
In Lodi, Roxanne Elias, ABC10.
Roxanne, thank you. Lodi police say two people, a man and a minor, were arrested on multiple gun-related charges, including attempted homicide. Lodi Bowling says their business will remain closed temporarily. Also tonight, the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office is asking for help in a cold case from 2021. Calvin Richard Day of Tracy was last seen in Stockton October 3rd, 2020. His car was found the next day parked in the Weston Park subdivision. The sheriff's office later found his remains in a shallow grave near McCollum Hill in March of 2021. His death was deemed a homicide, but investigators couldn't find a connection between where his car was and where his body was found. The Calaveras County Sheriff's Office urges anyone with information to call their anonymous tip line. For more information about the Calaveras County Cold Case Task Force and this investigation, visit their website at calaverascoldcase.org. A Turlock Irrigation District employee died on duty after a drowning at Lake Don Pedro. Here are the details. Deputies responded just before noon yesterday. The Tuolumne County Sheriff's Office says witnesses saw 62-year-old Mitchell Rogers go underwater and never resurface while swimming a rope out to a drifting boat. After more than 2 hours, his body was found and recovered. The Turlock Irrigation District says they are deeply saddened by this loss and are cooperating fully with the appropriate parties. The Sacramento City Unified School District is considering a shift in their school calendar for the next school year. The proposal would start the school year mid-August and end in late May. That's earlier than usual. District leaders say the change could bring some benefits like finals before winter break and better alignment with summer classes and sports schedules. Parents can weigh in through an online survey or at community meetings this month at schools across the district. Let's take a live look outside at the state capitol right now. A Mexican Independence Day ceremony is set to take place at 7 on the balcony of the Capitol building. It's known as El Grito. While the ceremony is still happening, the annual festival was canceled this year due to concerns over the current political climate and safety. Again, the ceremony starts around 7. And meanwhile, CAL FIRE put out a residential structure fire that spread to vegetation in Yuba County this afternoon. This was near Frenchtown Road and Hedges Way. 2 to 5 acres of brush were affected and evacuation warnings are in effect but are now lifted. The cause has not been released at this time, so stay with ABC 10 for updates. But meanwhile, Monica, how are conditions looking right now for the fire season?
Well, it is very warm outside. Unseasonably warm conditions will continue with our 24-hour temperature change showing 5 to almost 10 degrees warmer at this hour than where we were yesterday on our Sunday. So right now we're in the low to mid 90s up and down the valley, 70s to near 80 along the coast, 80s for the foothills, and right about 75 to 80 degrees for this year. Not much wind coming in from the Pacific, and that just illustrates how much we rely on that onshore flow to really bring down those temperatures and keep us in check. We will not have that for tonight. We'll get to about 80 degrees by 9 p.m., but it's going to take some time to cool the atmosphere. Average highs 89 degrees. We're going to be well above that for quite some time here in the forecast. Lows will eventually fall to the low 60s. Now, we are going to be tracking those unseasonably warm conditions through tomorrow with highs in the mid to upper 90s for our Tuesday, near 80 along the coast, 90s in the foothills, and close to 80 up top for the Sierra. Heat risk will continue in the moderate range Tuesday and Wednesday before we see some big time changes. take a look at this. Moderate heat risk under that ridge of high pressure, but those big weather changes are coming. Tropical system Mario is going to be making an impact, bringing not only much cooler weather, but also a chance of showers and thunderstorms. We'll have more on that coming up.
Oh, yeah, some big changes. Monica, thank you. Today, we're learning new information from investigators about how the suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk was arrested. ABC's Jacqueline Lee's at Utah Valley University with the latest.
I'm at Utah Valley University. There was a gunshot.
Newly released 911 calls from the moments after political activist Charlie Kirk was shot on Utah Valley University's campus during an event last week. Those calls highlighting the chaos as the crowd sprinted to escape.
Where's the speaker?
I don't know. It was in the middle. There's people around him. He's a speaker. He's a debater, famous debater, political debater.
Police naming 22-year-old Tyler Robinson as their suspect. Law enforcement sources telling ABC News investigators have gathered evidence Robinson was tracking Kirk's events and public appearances through information posted on the internet. Sources also say there's evidence Robinson gained familiarity with the campus in the days before the attack. FBI Director Kash Patel saying today on Fox News that investigators found Robinson's DNA on 2 pieces of evidence: a screwdriver on the roof where they believe the shot was fired from, as well as a towel wrapped around the rifle investigators say they found in the woods. Patel also saying they discovered a destroyed note from the suspect written prior to the shooting.
I'm going to summarize, basically saying the suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it.
ABC News learning new details surrounding Robinson's surrender. A spokesperson for the Washington County Sheriff's Office saying just before 10 Thursday night, Robinson, his father, and a close family friend who previously worked in law enforcement drove together to the sheriff's office. Robinson was held at the office until he was turned over to the FBI and other law enforcement. Robinson is held at the Utah County Jail on suspicion of aggravated murder, obstruction of justice, and felony use of a firearm. Charging documents against Robinson are expected to be filed by tomorrow.
I know the charges that the state is most likely going to raise, aggravated murder, but I suspect that the federal government is also racing to press charges as well, and there you have to find more of a federal nexus.
Over the weekend, Utah's governor is saying the suspect is not cooperating. However, his friends and family are. A motive at this point is not yet clear. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Orem, Utah.
Jacqueline, thank you. Charges are expected to be filed against the suspect by tomorrow. And that's when the Utah Department of Public Safety says more information in the Charlie Kirk assassination may also be released.
So the county attorney will choose what they release, what they don't as they file charges. But I do believe a lot more information tomorrow after those charges are filed. We'll be able to speak to more of the intricacies of this investigation. What I can tell you is we believe that Mr. Robinson acted alone as the shooter. We don't believe he had any assistance at the scene. We have no evidence to lead us that way right now. But all of the time frame leading up to the shooting and the time frame after the shooting up to the time he was arrested is still being investigated, and we will look for any of those possible connections.
The Utah Department of Public Safety did not comment on whether Robinson is cooperating so far, but said the people who have been in contact with him are cooperating. Remember, our coverage on Charlie Kirk's assassination doesn't end here. For more on the investigation, including live coverage and news conferences, download the ABC10 Plus app. It's free to download on your TV. Up next, we're learning new details about a teenager who died after falling 75 feet while watching a sideshow. Plus, employment scams are on the rise. What you need to know to avoid falling victim. A teenage boy died after falling over a concrete barrier onto an on-ramp while watching a sideshow in Contra Costa County. Here are the details. CHP says they initially responded to a call regarding sideshow activity with more than 100 cars blocking the intersection of Pomona Street and Merchant Street. CHP says the boy climbed over a concrete safety barrier over I-80 westbound and fell 75 feet. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Research shows multiple people are looking for ways to earn extra cash or land a better paying job. And according to data from the Federal Trade Commission, job and employment scams are on the rise this year. ABC 10 contributor Michael Yoshida reports scammers are using text messages to steal your information and your money.
In the first half of 2025, the Federal Trade Commission's data shows more than 235,000 text message scams were reported in the U.S., resulting in $342 million in losses.
It's not hard to look down at your phone when you get a ding of a text message, and scammers bet on that.
Among the many types of these scams, fake job or employment texts.
It might sound really interesting, a great opportunity. They will say things like they're a recruiter from a well-known company.
In Q1 of this year, the FTC says there were about 29,000 reports of job or employment text scams, and it's on the rise. And with an economy where more people may be looking for a side hustle to earn extra cash or even a new job, it can be tempting to reply.
But there's always going to be this ask that you reply with personal information or financial information to pay you. What the scammer really wants is to steal your money or your identity. So just make sure you're not clicking those links and not responding to those text messages.
Other things to remember if you get a suspicious text. Take a pause. You may want to rush to respond so you don't miss the opportunity, but relax. Is it too good to be true? Maybe even show it to a friend and get their opinion. Research the number, have others reported it. Also, see if the company exists and is actually hiring. And if you decide it's a scam, report it. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida.
Next at 5, Lodi's improving its emergency medical response with advanced life support services. And we have a new look at a mural commemorating Sacramento culinary icons and local legends.
Our free ABC10 Plus TV streaming app has so much to offer. Get your news live and on demand 24/7 so you can watch the news when you want. There's breaking news, extended forecast, and so much more. We have everything you need to get through your day and ready for the weekend. We've got you covered on money-saving tips, travel, entertainment, and sports. Download the free ABC10 Plus app on your smart TV and popular streaming devices like Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and more. ABC 10. We stand for you 24/7.
Lodi is improving the city's emergency medical services. It's called Advanced Life Support Services, meant to bring life-saving care to residents faster and more effectively. ABC 10's Candace Redd is in Lodi with the details.
The Lodi Fire Department is celebrating a milestone. Check it out for yourself. Well, starting today, the Lodi Fire Department will deliver advanced life support services to people in the city. It's also called ALS. The Lodi Fire Department will operate its first ALS paramedic engine at Fire Station 1. This is right here on Elm Street, where there will be a total of 6 ALS certified paramedic firefighters serving the community. The program will expand over the next year with more ALS certified firefighters and engines at other stations. Now, according to the city of Lodi, for the past 50 years, Lodi firefighters only provided basic life support during emergency medical responses. We're talking about things like CPR, airway management, and treatment for bleeding and shock. Now, with the launch of ALS services, firefighters can perform more advanced airway management, administer life-saving medications, and deliver critical interventions for both trauma and medical emergencies. Well, all of this even right before an ambulance arrives at the scene. Well, here's Lodi Fire Chief Ken Johnson. Take a listen.
So our goal is to bring the first 10 minutes of the emergency room to your living room within 4 minutes of you calling 911. We're here so that you are able to have the highest level of medical services as quickly as possible in the hopes to save life.
Keep in mind, this transition brings the Lodi Fire Department in line with the American Heart Association standards. The association recommends ALS care be provided within the first 8 minutes of a cardiac emergency for the best chance of survival. Again, a ribbon cutting ceremony was held earlier this morning to celebrate the new services and new engine. For now, in Lodi, Candace Redd, ABC 10.
Candace, thank you. Okay, take a look at these renderings for a new art installation planned for Sacramento International Airport's new parking garage. Artist Paul Ramirez Jonas created the piece titled "The Trip Around the Block is the Trip Around the World." It's made with hundreds of painted steel panels with punched out holes that really from far away create the names of local places that travelers pass through. You might know them, including Yolo County, Cache Creek, Clover Valley, so many more. Very interesting and beautiful. Yes. Let's talk weather now. Monica, quite a warm start to this final week of summer. We're already here.
I know we're going to see a lot of changes unfold throughout the week. I want to detail them all because we've got a tropical system to track as well. Here's a look at our weather headlines. Tonight, we're going to see the clear skies. Tomorrow, we're still into that heat risk, but looking ahead, we've got tropical system Mario. It's way down there in the Pacific, but it is going to have an impact potentially on our midweek weather. Here it is right here, just off Baja. You can see it kind of cruising through the Pacific, making its way northward here. Really not much of an impact for much of Mexico or Baja California, but for us, as it moves northward, more clouds, cooler temperatures, even the chance of showers and thunderstorms. Meantime, kicking off this new work and school week, Sutter County, beautiful out there, doing a lot of harvesting out there, so you might see a lot of dust in the air. Solano County also looking very pretty out there. Placer County up towards Lake Tahoe, clear skies, and for Calaveras County, a little hazy, but overall still dry and sunny with unseasonably warm conditions to start off this new work and school week. Temperatures currently low to mid 90s in the valley, including Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, and Marysville. Tahoe currently 74. That sunset at 7:13, and I think we're all looking forward to that sunset so we start to cool conditions because this is quite a shift from where we've been. Average high is 89 degrees, and you can see we've been hovering below that for the past several days, now starting to jump well above that, and we continue to warm things into the middle of our work week. Highs for today in the lower 90s. So we're still right around that threshold. We're close enough to that average high, but starting to see we're getting closer to some warmer conditions. 80s along the coast, 80s for the foothills, and close to 80 up top for this year. Now we are going to make that shift. We're out of the unseasonably warm weather into the cool weather by the time we get to the end of the work week. But this is courtesy of that weather system that I told you is cruising through the southern part of our region. So it's right now just off the coast of Mexico here, Tropical Storm Mario. It is going to become a tropical depression, but as it does so, It kind of interacts with our jet stream and going to bring in the chance for showers and thunderstorms locally by the end of the week. So here is how this all unfolds. Under the ridge of high pressure, sinking warming air, and we're still going to have that moderate heat risk through Wednesday. Here comes Mario as it makes its way northward here. By Wednesday, we're starting to track how that's going to impact parts of Southern California in particular. Thursday into Friday, but with enough instability, we could see some of those showers and thunderstorms pop up here from about Sacramento southward. So we'll be monitoring that very closely. Highs meantime near 80 up top for the Sierra, 80s and 90s down low for the foothills. It's still going to be a very toasty Tuesday forecast for us with unseasonably warm weather. But as we make our way closer to the end of the week, that's when we see that big drop in temperatures. But we also bring in that unstable weather with the chance of showers and thunderstorms as we're starting to kind of wrap up summer and begin fall. That happens with the autumnal equinox next Monday with our high back at 92.
Yeah, definitely some big changes.
I know, right?
You mentioned rain in the valley?
I know.
We haven't seen or heard about that in a long time.
We saw those thunderstorms a couple weeks ago. Yeah. That's kind of the situation that we're going to be monitoring.
Okay, Here we come.
Yes.
Fall almost here.
I know.
Monica, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, check this out. Sacramento is honoring some of the city's culinary icons. Officials unveiled the Legends of Hospitality murals in Jazz Alley. Take a look. The photorealistic black and white murals pay tribute to several people, including Lena Fatt and Randy Paragary. Organizers say these people have helped put Sacramento on the map for the city's contributions to the farm to fork movements and events highlighting all the food our region has to offer.
Well, the idea came from just honoring the people that I think that I believe deserve to be honored. There's a lot of things that we do in Sacramento, from the Walk of the Stars, honoring folks, to a lot of the big galas, honor, Citizen of the Year and things like that. And I thought it was just about time to honor people that meant a lot to the hospitality industry.
Yeah, they certainly are legends. Now, when it's fully finished, this section of Jazz Alley will feature nearly 24 murals celebrating the city's artistic and cultural heritage. Up next, hard to believe, but it's already that time of year already. Kids can start writing letters to Santa. What you need to know to be one of Santa's helpers. Okay, I'm not going to lie. It might be a little early to be thinking about Christmas, but a century-old tradition has officially started back up. The U.S. Postal Service announced kids can now start writing letters to Santa. Under Operation Santa, the Postal Service links letter writers with some of Santa's helpers, generous people and groups who help grant their holiday wishes. The Postal Service is also looking for more helpers. For the first time, those who want to fulfill wishes can do so for multiple people. Just make sure the envelope includes the writer's full name and return address and Santa's name and address. Letters must be postmarked by December 6th. For more information on how to mail your letter and how to become a wish fulfiller, visit USPS Operation Santa. That is such a lovely sentiment. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be filling in and helping Santa out, but it is definitely not feeling like what we would imagine for Christmas weather-wise, right? Weather-wise.
A little bit later on this week, but yeah, we'll see temperatures cool tonight, eventually into the 60s.
Okay, we look forward to tracking all those changes. Have a great night.